right. Good morning. No, that's a lie. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome and welcome back to the channel. This is Arts of the Round Table. My name is Mello. It is Monday. August the 3rd. The 3rd of Monday. The 3rd of August. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I'm doing this is just a really quick, who drew this thing here? Give me 1 second as I try to figure out who I am studying from. Of course, it's John Buscema. John Buscema, Savage Dragon. Where is my head at this morning? Savage Sword of Conan, number 3, page 1. This is the prologue, and this is John Buscema, inked by Pablo Marcos. And that is really what I've been doing all weekend. Not Buscema's work, but just kind of studying and doing loose sketches. Good afternoon. Good morning to you, DW. So that's really what I've been working on, man. I had got some, you could already see it here, some books over the weekend. The Sensuous Frazetta being one of them. I've been looking at this for a while. It's not for what you think. We are, let me move this up so you guys can check out what I'm talking about. So, picked this thing up. Well, picked it up. It arrived over the weekend. I've been looking at it for a while. This is going to be, this is my second Frazetta book. What's the name of the first one? You guys already know. The first one, the most iconic one that has the Egyptian princess on the cover. Anyway, the dude was so prolific, and it's always amazing to read about his life and read about his accomplishments. But really, what really drew me to this, pun intended, it's just the way he drew the female form, the amount of action and storytelling he did on just some of these just single images. This was early in his career. I think this was before he started doing his paintings. But what's really cool is this segment in the center here when he was doing romance comics, drawing for romance comics. His ink work is just phenomenal. And this is the closest I'm ever going to get to an artist edition of his work. If these guys are ever listening and if they have any of his original stuff, it would be beautiful to look at. Unfortunately, I think some of these publishers kept the originals, or they were lost forever. So they painstakingly recreated some of these as best they could. But it's beautiful stuff. It's really interesting to see how he can go from these amazing, detailed, realistic looking images and then give you a very animated and cartoonish shot there. He was a cartoonist. We always think of him as a painter. Chuboy was a cartoonist. These colors segments though do not give his black and white work any justice. But they're so beautiful. I'm going to be looking at a bunch of... It reminds me a lot of some of Dave Stevens' work. Dave Stevens is may he rest in peace, gentleman that did The Rocketeer. They're so beautiful. There's so much story going on here. Anyway, looking at this stuff, studying some of this and just staring at it. I went through a lot of studying and sketching over the weekend. it took me out of the creative phase of what I was going through. Very weird coming back today for me. It kind of took me out of my zone, and I don't know how I feel about that. But I'm taking it in stride. I'm still drawing, still putting things into the mental Rolodex. Yeah, I'll show you some of the stuff that I kind of practiced on, and then I will go into what I'm going to be drawing today. But enough about me. How are you guys doing? How was the weekend? We had some rainy weather. I didn't get to do any yard work, so my yard front and back looks like a jungle. I was looking at, I'm going to be going back and forth because whenever I start talking about this stuff, I get excited. There's certain things that I've noticed from these artists and how they draw the female face. Both Buscema and that era of artists, Ernie Chan and Alfredo Alcala and all of them, and Frank Frazetta. They do this thing with the eye where the crook inside the eye. This is going to be the left eye. This is where the nose would be. So the crook of the eye, and then the eyelid, and they always attach to that back line here. And Frazetta has a habit of bringing his eyebrows really high. I don't do eyebrows that high, but anyway. When I was looking at all of these pictures, I'm like, I started to do some Frazetta studies. I'll show you guys in a hot second. But he was doing this a lot. Painterly, especially in the cover here. Well, not that cover. Hopefully I don't get in too much trouble. Some of these are a bit risque. Here. We'll do that. But you see her eyes there? So I did a study of this image. And when I was going into the face, I started noticing how he was building the shape of the eye. And he repeats it in other pieces. Obviously, it's his style. Not so much when he's drawing, only when he's painting. I found that fascinating. Such a nerd. Especially here. I love that shot. Anyway, I started messing around with that. And I dug it. And then I started looking at my old Conans, and then I started realizing that they all do kind of like the same thing. I haven't inked in a while, and I started a little bit over the weekend here. Not necessarily like riding a bike, but it's close enough. And they would do this little crook here. I'm still curious who they were influenced. What female figure were they influenced by? I still think that Buscema used Sophia Loren. I would. Anywho, how was your weekend? Did you guys do anything? Did you do nothing? You lazy bums. Did you get creative? Did you rest? I let's go. Let me see. So, yeah, right, Caleb. Hello, nurse. DW says, my project of the week, continuing a project started at yesterday. Study group, story exploration through art based off the starting point of you wake up in the desert with no memory of who you are. Ooh, that's kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool. Um, have you guys seen Project Hail Mary? The beginning of that movie has that very similar premise. Our hero, the professor there, the doctor there, wakes up with no memory. He wakes up from an induced coma as he's traveling through space, and he finds himself in where am I? He doesn't remember anything. He remembers certain things that he goes, am I smart? Like he'll remember a formula that he's like, what the hell? Where did that come from in my mind? So that's pretty cool. And then you got to draw the landscape. Oof. The character find themselves an object you find on your person being the only clue of your identity, and then something you find in the sand that will help you survive. That is a cool project. That's a story and a half. So, are you writing? No, you got to draw the landscape. Draw the landscape, the character, and an item that's going to help them survive. Hot dang. That's really cool. She is cooler than anything I did. So, I hope I don't get too much trouble. And it's for the sake of art. So, like I said, I was just doing a lot of Frazetta studies. This is the copying from the page from the beginning of his book there. And trying to break it down into something that I would understand, because it's going to be very difficult to try to reverse engineer anything that Frazetta did. I have his rough works where you can see some of his rough sketches, doi. But going through his book, you're just really studying his line and seeing how that works out. But I was trying to break his shapes, of his female form. And there's an artist right now, I forget his name, as always. He draws very voluptuous anime and manga females. And this shape reminded me of how he does it. I'm going to try to find that dude's page again. Some more Frazetta stuff here. I try to go using a parallel quill pen. Not a quill pen, a nib. Which, of course, I'm not going to find it. I lied. It's right here. Using this flat edges, parallel. It's a calligraphy pen for flat lines. So the whole thing was using flat lines. It's really interesting. There's an artist, you guys know Ike from Ike's Design. He uses a mechanical version of this pen. Not necessarily a dip pen, but a Pentel pen. I think it already has the cartridge for the ink. He is amazing with it. So I'm very jealous of Ike and his inking prowess with this instrument. So I was just messing around with that. This was a blanket that I turned into just a hot mess, just to mess around with that same pen, trying to figure out certain textures and lines. Then when that didn't work out, I went into this book, Rendering with Pen and Ink, in Pen and Ink, by Arthur Guptu. And this really is going to be an amazing reference and study guide for what I'm going to try to do with my artwork and my stories. But I'm in a weird spot, my peoples, because I'm really digging all this painting that I'm doing, and I don't know if it's going to affect how I ink. I don't know if my inking practices is going to affect the way I paint. Lately, I haven't not been drawing with the benefit of the inker in mind, except for a few drawings I did, and hopefully, for to try to submit them to Chuck Gibson so that he can ink them. But honestly, I don't think for the inker in mind, which is kind of terrible. But I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be better. So anyway, I cannot wait to really dig into some of this stuff and slow down a bit. Because this is the type of stuff that really is going to help me, this tone with ink. Right now, I feel, and I notice with my, where is my, the most accomplished piece of ink that I think I've done is this one here. Is my Judge Dredd and with the judges, I believe, in my opinion, I feel like it's the most accomplished piece of inking that I've done. If I can find it. There it is. Showing some textures, showing some dimension, but it really is heavy-handed. I still love it. I'm still very proud of how it came out. A lot of drawing in there, but it was, even then, it was very difficult to try to even just do these boots and these pads and the gold and keeping that in mind. And but you see how just tonally it is heavy. Oops, not that one. Page is pretty big, so I apologize. Maybe. Wait, who made that bigger? Well, that's what she said, and that's inappropriate. I really enjoy it. It is dark. It's supposed to be dark, but it's almost too dark, in my opinion. So, I'm curious how something like this would look like if I had a bit more training and understanding of tone with ink. And I used only a brush. I don't know if I can accomplish that tonally using a brush, or am I going to have to start grabbing a quill pen, or I don't want to use mechanical pencils, mechanical pens like microns. I have nothing against them. I really don't. I know they're extremely versatile, and I'm sure they will help me speed up my processes. But if I'm going to be brush inking, I want to keep that same type of rhythm of dip, wipe, work. And if that's how I want to do it, then I have to use a dip pen, a quill pen, a nib pen, those type of things where I have to dip, wipe, work. Just so that I can stay in that rhythm. Muscle memory. Nami. The first Naimeen of the Monday. A Monday Naimeen. Monday. I love brushing with I love inking with the brush though. But it is very difficult to get sharp lines, which I think is why I like it. It gives me more of an organic line and not a mechanical line. We shall see. There's a lot going on. But yeah, so I cannot wait. So that's one of those things. So I already started a bit of a practice sheet. This is freehand on top. Just basically looking at the looking at some of the lines that the book already suggests for practices. So, and that's what I'm going to start doing. Just finding a piece of exercise and just go with it. I'm not going to, I think I've been out of school for over 20 years. My mind is not structurally set that way anymore. So I have to make it more organic for me to learn better. And that's the way I learn. These were done using this Pentel brush, which is not too bad. It's just a bit difficult to control the line, which will make it better for me to learn. I will be doing this with my Winsor Newtons just to get it. And these exercises, they show the nib pen, so I'm curious if they're specifically for the nib pen, or if later on they'll say, "Hey, get your brushes on." But I like this idea of these practices. It's probably something I should have done years ago. I'm gonna start working on some of the hatching and all that stuff. There's an artist right now, Haldir, Hildir, on YouTube and on Instagram that is doing a ton of these studies and practices, and he just shares them. No commentary. It's just kind of like speed art or just even actual artwork of him working on these, and it's been inspiring and kind of like, okay, maybe I could put his videos on while I do my studies and it'll feel like I'm in a class. Maybe I can trick my mind. But this is really where to go. What I want to practice with the brushes and with the quill pens. Tonal ranges. Right now, if you can tell, there is no tonal range in my work when it comes to heavy inking. Very little. I'm cheating using water down or dry brush effect. I won't say it's cheating. It's a technique. But if I were to build up this thing, build up my skill set, that's what it's all about. Anyway, that's what we did, man. That's what I did. This week, I already set up. For a guy that doesn't want to go back to school, I did create a study guide or a study schedule to do certain rocks, certain amount of rocks, certain amount of trees, certain amount of stuff, so that I can start building and start having in my mind ideas. Isn't that beautiful? What the frick? So you guys remember what I think I was trying to articulate last week about being the creator of these worlds and having the confidence of determining what that world is going to look like. If your clouds are square, they're square, and then we as the viewer have to accept it. As long as you commit to that art form, we have to accept that that's what those things look like. And I say that. Check out his clouds, man. It's just cloud, sky, and the moon. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, DW. You need a study schedule, yet also once something becomes required, then I really don't wanna. Yep. And the moment I did the schedule for myself, I'm like, ugh. So I'm already trying to skip class. I was supposed to start today. I gotta hit the fan. JOM, what's happening? Whew, okay. All right. People came here to see some drawing and then they open up and see text. Boo this man right here. So what are we going to do? Alright? So I'll be sharing the results, good, bad, or indifferent. We're gonna make it happen. So that's what I was done doing. Also, where is it? So this is really, boop. So after doing some studying, some more Frazetta work, trying to break the characters down. This isn't really why I intended this sketchbook for, but I didn't care. I just grabbed my pencil this weekend and went to town. Just trying to find the form, free form drawing. Finding, I've been doing a lot of this almost like noodling, three-dimensional finding of the figure to see if I can be a little bit looser. I think I've been a bit really, I've been kind of tight on some of my artwork. So I've been trying to loosen up, trying a little different style. That's very Batman animated, but I was trying to break down the figure. Y'all see that? But I just always loved that strong shape. There's that. So this is a bit more looser, more calm. This is my style, no references, but I was trying to break down into my style, the stuff that I was looking at, like those things from the eyes, the shapes of the face. They have this beautiful contour around the eyes, these artists do, in those era of 60s, 70s that I've been looking at and studying, that I love. So I'm stealing it. That's supposed to be her arm, her shoulder, forearm, her bicep, forearm. Same here. She could either be mounted, phrasing, or you could be looking at it from above or below. So, phrasing. A mature Monday. Then I wanted to, I was trying to draw a kid crying. Mommy! Kids, man, drawing kids is hard. And I could not, for the life of me, I think I was getting there, but I could not get this leg, this forward leg, because when you run, the elbow that's up corresponds to the opposite knee that's up. And I didn't know how angled or how exaggerated I should have been when trying to draw it. I might need to look at some animation books. Do I have any? I might need to look at some guides on the basics of animation. Because in animation, as you guys know or don't know, it's basically keyframes and in betweens, right? The keyframe artist is usually the guy, the hero. He's the one that gets the applause because everything looks good and tight, while the in-between artist is the dog, man. He puts in all the work. His is the name that's in her. Theirs is the name that gets skimmed through in the credits. So in keyframe animation, if I was gonna, I'm thinking of a 2-page spread for my comic, for my story. Well, my character Efo is going to be running towards towards us, gearing up for a strike in the center of the page, and then the follow through. That could be either a very boring composition or very exciting, but if I had the mind of an animator, then I have to keep in mind the keyframe, the one shot, the weight of her running, the weight of her with her sword, and then the weight of her finishing the strike. So I couldn't quite get that keyframe for that kid. But it was fun to do. Gave him a loose tooth. Loose tooth. A gone tooth. Alright, that was that. And then this. We went to go see Spider-Man Brand New Day yesterday. Fantastic movie. Fantastic movie. Super entertaining. No spoilers here. I won't say anything about it besides the fact that it was great. Had a good time. Can't wait to see it again. It really is kind of like cemented in the MCU. What that means is a weird gateway. You come out of there, if you're a nerd for the comics, and you kind of have an understanding of where Marvel's going with these movies, you come out of there asking yourself some questions or going, ooh, how are they going to answer that? But Tom Holland nails it, of course. The supporting cast is fantastic. So, but as I was sitting there, I kept thinking about, I don't remember if I ever done a Hulk and a Spider-Man drawing. So I came home after we watched it, and flim-flam this piece. What I really wanted was, again, thinking of animation, what I really wanted was a kind of like a surprised look on Spidey, with the spider tingle. Nami. And with the Hulk charging behind him. And it was just something that I was just while we came home and hung out and kind of like unwound. So I didn't really have anything to do today, in the sense of again, the studying kind of like threw me out of my groove for my own story. I have some unfinished pieces that I need to paint. I'll show you guys. Put on here, happy. So these are my characters, which I started, and I need to finish painting these. This one's pretty much done, even though I have to finish painting her hair, her brother, the Anku. But I think I might just hold out for Wednesday for our workshop streams to do those. So I wanted to try to finish this. I could not crack the code of the Hulk's face. So it's kind of frustrating. I didn't do enough growling to get the face right. So anyway, so I wanted to do this, redo it maybe. Move that up. But I wanted to use a already pre-done. I don't know why I grayed out this this canvas board, this art board. But I figured, let's see if we can transfer this to this and do something. Nami. So finally, some art. Let's do it. All right. So DW says he has not seen yet. He got 30 other Marvel flicks you got to watch first. Do you, though? Do you have to watch them? And he says, ooh, what are my thoughts on Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider? It depends which one is going to show up. It depends which Ryan Gosling we're going to see. Are we going to see Driver? Was it Driver? Driver. or how was the name of that movie? Across the Pine? You guys know what I'm talking about. Are we going to see that one? Because I don't want to see Ken. I don't want to see I even don't want to see his version in Project Hail Mary. I do not want to see that Ryan Gosling. Not that he was bad, he was specific for that role and he nailed it. So, but yeah, I don't mind it. I thought it was Norman Reedus, didn't they? Was that something? Did we get bamboozled? I think that first of all, artfully, how are you? Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. And I'm gonna answer your question about these my fashion accessories. So it's been a while since I've done anything with this board. I think that I have already gessoed and used. I know it's acrylic, but the way this pencil is drawing on it tells me that it has something, and it just the texture feels different. I think I went very bigly on it. So I have a feeling that it's going to be difficult to erase. If I have to erase, I guess my cat's telling me, then don't erase it. What I want to do is I want to try to keep it as loose as possible. Oh, brother. It's not, you see how it's like rubbing off? Ghostly like. We'll figure it out. Where was I? Maybe Mello looking for a hand glove, and he suggested also have a small hand. I don't see many signs. Like, woo woo. She, my cat, is deaf, and she just probably wants attention. So for the gloves, there really is no purpose for why I got it. That's a lie. I just lied to you. When you're not drawing on board, it does help. I'm righty and I tend to smudge. And these really are for digital artists. So that you can glide, your hand can glide across the tablet. So there really isn't any, I mean, honestly, the reason I got these because they were inexpensive. And I think this one that has the padding on it, it has no support. It really doesn't do anything besides aesthetically. It's breaking apart. But I got them because they were inexpensive. They're the exact same thing. Somebody stitched this weird padding. What did I get this for? Because it doesn't help. It's just more comfortable. Sometimes I use different types of paper, so it makes it very comfortable for me to draw on it. And lately, I've been using it to smudge instead of grabbing my cotton swab. I'm not going to change the composition of this drawing. I actually like the way the hand came out. There's certain things, little wins that I did. What I really want to do is try to emphasize the size of the Hulk here. But if you are interested, I can try to find the link of where I found these, and I'll send them to you. Are you digital artist? Do you use them? Are you going to use it to draw on a tablet, or it's just so you could be like the cool kids with fingerless gloves? Either way, it's okay. I'll only have the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show as a reference of Ghost Rider. That Ghost Rider is dope. Robbie Ray is. One, because he's Latino, so I thought it was cool. And he drives a muscle car, which also is cool. He is, I think, the third version of the Ghost Rider. I know they've changed it a couple of times. Johnny Blaze being if we was to go through the actors, so Johnny Blaze is the Nicolas Cage. They haven't done Daniel Ketch yet. Maybe I can work on. All right. And then Robbie Reyes. But since then, the Punisher has become Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider's an interesting character because it's not like he's popular. He just looks cool. So people equate that to popularity. But they really can't tell you, oh, I love the Ghost Rider. What storyline did you fall in love with? Unless you're one of the writers, then you're going to go, oh yeah, this one. You know, people might claim Midnight Suns only because I think it's recent. I was into Ghost Rider briefly because of Mark Teixeira, who's Boricua from New York, who drew him in the 90s and is dope. His artwork is amazing. All right, I'm going back and forth. So, you have an old dog and he's deaf and getting blind? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, she's about 16 years old. Her name is Broadway. Not that she answers to it or ever did. She's 16. She still has a ton of just like energy. She's just loud. She's a diva, hence her name. I hate when using charcoal some pencil, it gets messy. That's just the name of that's just the nature of the beast. But the charcoal being messy, it can't be helped. Just can't be helped. This would not help. As you can see, now I'm trying to draw with my arm lifted so I won't smudge too much. But with my pencil style, it's something that I've embraced and smudged more and more. You guys seen some of my artwork. I use graphite and even this color pencil. Very much like I would use charcoal. And I'll probably smudge this a bit more. I think I'm gonna have to put something on it, because if I put a gesso or anything, it's gonna be terrible. 1 second, y'all. What up? Okay, I can use another piece of paper under my hand as well. Yes, that's very helpful. I don't use that because I want to see the piece, and I feel that, and I'm not, listen, I will never tell you that what you're doing is wrong. In art, nothing that you do is wrong. Okay, it's just your creative interpretation of how you, whatever. Okay, it's you. So be you. Do you, boo boo, and be you, boo boo. Why I don't like using paper, you lose out the rest. Unless you're inking or doing something like that, then you can kind of like knock it out. I've learned to appreciate the smudging. For instance, already just a bit of that smudging has given me some dimensionality and some shading for Spidey here. And if I continue that trend, I don't want to use these. I just washed these. Let me use this instead. Hew. Accused paper. DW says, I always wear the glove with digital, though I can't draw on a tablet without them. I can't either. Isn't that weird? The hand gets all sticky and gross. You can't get the smooth transition. But on paper, this helps not smudge so much, which is why I started using it more on paper. So it will prevent some smudging. This is the same type of pencil, right? So it does prevent some smudging, but you will get some eventually, right? Do I have a pencil here? And it depends on the pencil. If you're going to use a soft lead, then it's going to smudge. This is a 4B soft lead. It will smudge. Right? If I got this whole piece of paper, this whole thing is lined up with a 4B. If it's softer, maybe lead, a little harder lead, may not so much, but yeah. And I'm putting a lot of pressure. So it does help prevent a bit of smudging. It helps keep your hand clean. I would come out of my drawings with all of the right hand, the right side of my hand, just filthy. So it's more now for comfort. They are comfortable. There really is no sizes. You're right. I get the smaller ones also. And they're kind of like stretched. They're this weird, not neoprene. It might be neoprene. These are comfortable though, even though I know I think it's psychosomatic. You lost all your H pencils. Yeah, guys, I don't know what I put on this board. It is not even taking. Well, we're gonna learn together. That's interesting. I guess it makes for good erasing. But this actually kind of helps me because I kind of see in tone. So if I'm going to be painting this, then this kind of helps me generate shadows. That makes sense? And it kind of helps me cheat. I don't have to worry about line work. It's all about cheating. But it does seem to be breaking up. We're learning together today. That's what Monday is about. Let me see here. Thank you. Well, thank you. You're very welcome. Thanks, Mello. No, just to keep smudge off my paper. It doesn't even prevent that yet. So it does help prevent a bit of smudging. Boop, boop, boop. One day I hope to buy a tablet. I'm paying off my MacBook and okay, your DJI Tree camera. Oh yeah, that'll do it. You could get an inexpensive little bit of Temu tablet. Get a little Temu tablet from Wish. Wow, look at this is the one thing I also don't like about drawing on artboards like that. Even though I have been doing it lately, look at how it's eaten up. I have a feeling that not only has this is an artboard with acrylic and textured gesso on it, which is why it's eating up my paper. And one day I hope, he lost all his H pencils. They're overrated. I'm kidding. I'm going to try one and see how it goes. You're going to try one of the gloves. Good luck. And if you get comfortable with it, you're never going to go back. And it's okay too. All right. The one thing I really wish I can find. I thought that's what you meant. No. What I really need is a good pencil sharpener. That is what I need. But lucky for me, I got a ton of these pencils. That's also one thing I didn't think I was going to be doing, drawing so much with blue pencil. Surprisingly very comfortable. I need something here. This part of the pencil holder is bigger. I don't really know what it's gonna. I think this is really for charcoal pencils, for charcoal lead. So I've been trying to find a way to jam my pencils in there for the life. Is that right? Well, that could be why I've been having so many problems with these pencils. Even though I've been enjoying them, I might have to go over this with a regular pencil because that's really ghosty. All right. Fist. If that's that, that's gonna be the shoulder, bicep. No, yeah, forearm, fist. Thumb on the inside. It's difficult sometimes to draw the Hulk because he's such a big character. His proportions are off. To make him look this big, you have to make his head smaller. So I'm pushing. Which way I want to go? Do I want to make it cartoonish? Which I think so. Aiden Howdy, dude. You know how far I've suffered, man? I haven't had a wellness check from my homie. How you doing, Aiden Howdy? Howdy. You also got to do a lot of growling and roaring when you're drawing the Hulk. And he doesn't have to be ripped. Dad bod Hulk is in. Ah, dude, I'm just messing with you. Welcome back, and I'm doing fantastic. Still here. Still alive. I'm still alive. I know the moment I put anything over us, a gesso or something, all of my blue lines are going to disappear. I was reading something on that Frazetta book, Sensuous. You gotta say that right. Sensuous. Uh, Frazetta. That I read something there that kind of like justified a way of thinking that I have about not doing a lot of thumbnails. I know sometimes it would help me. I know it for sure. I don't think not doing. I think doing. Doing. None of this anatomy just does not make sense. I love it. I don't do a lot of thumbnails or practice sketches. And one of the reasons I mentioned is because if I want to fail big. I don't want to fail. I don't want to die by 1,000 cuts. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm going to be drawing this piece here, this is where I want to do my struggling and where I want to do my succeeding, my winning right here. Because that's where I want the feeling to come up. Well, Frazetta would do it for a different reason. He would do preliminary sketches just to get certain things out of the way, but they would be super loose. And he said he wouldn't do a lot because then you run out of ideas. And it loses the spontaneity on the page. Like you want the page to keep what it wants. That makes sense. Looks like a gorilla. Hit me, Aiden. Do what you gotta do, brother, because I know I think you got some classes. But I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. I hope you're doing fantastic. It's good to see you. I think the hardest part is going to be I used to have the habit of drawing the Hulk very Frankenstein-esque. Big brow, all that stuff, and then a little bit of hair. I'm trying to avoid some of that. I might look at, I have Buscema's stuff over there. I might end up looking at his, but I don't want to. I don't want to get up. I swear, sometimes I'm I'm a genius just for doing this, being able to go. I don't like that mouth, but we know that we can just brush it off. I appreciate you, Aiden. Have a good one, man. Friendo. Yeah, brother. The tape has come off. It feels gross. Why? Ew. Ew, that felt oh, okay. No, I don't like that. I wonder why that happened. I guess my room is warm. Great news. I'm glad you're doing good. Thank you, man. I'm glad you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Did you say you're doing well? You're going to have to tell me next time you swing through. Wrong way. All right. Little rubbing alcohol that you should have readily available at all time. I've been playing Daisy. You guys familiar with the game Daisy? It is a Arma mod, and it has zombies. And my wife and I have been playing that a little too much. So survival horror. Huge emphasis on survival. And it's the little things like that, like a alcohol tincture or iodine that we find because you need to like disinfect rags, or if you get cut or beat up by a zombie, you need it to protect and disinfect your wounds. Oh yeah, something like that. Here, let me get you guys a little closer to the face. I'm gonna have to double dip the chip on this. I'm gonna have to spray a fixative or something. Like I said, I don't think this will survive. Gesso on it. But maybe I don't need to. Maybe this will be one of those where I can just try to paint right over it. And fail in real time. Alright, this is gonna be... Nah, man, you know what? Let's play. Hulk not give permission for selfie. Yeah, I'm gonna paint this. I've had this artboard sitting under my desk for months now, This was earlier in the year. I had done this because I was really digging the monochrome painting in monochrome. So I had primed it in gray so that I won't have to worry about too many tones. But something happened in betwixt then and now where I started using more color, and I'm like, it's just one of those things. It was a phase. It was my monochrome phase. This is very cartoonish. Where is it? Oh, that has alcohol in it. I guess what I can do is just use the gouache to ink it, so to speak. Tell you what, it's not what I was expecting, but that's all right. Just erased his whole hair. You know, maybe I could. Maybe I could just use the gouache and ink it. I could also just ink it using my brush pen, if all I'm going to do is just paint over it anyway. You guys okay with that face? We good? If you're good, I'm good. I'm going to try a little bit of everything today. Yes, this is a Prisma Color Erase Pencil. I'm going to see if I can find their... oh, man. Hold on one second. Cobalt. The cobalt color. This just says blue. Color erase number 20044. You probably won't be able to see that. It won't but trust me, 2044. 20044. Again, another piece of that I took from Rob Norton. Alright, I'm just gonna do the outline here. I'm not gonna go too detailed. I just want to keep those lines, but I'm not gonna be so strict here. And I think I'm gonna have to be careful with how I rub. Going to the right here. Because I do not want to lose my lines here. And the way I ink is kind of like in a sweeping motion, so I already know that it's going to be a problem. You know what? You know what I'm doing that's really annoying to me right now? I'm setting boundaries because of fear of messing up, fear of losing something. And it's getting me annoyed. I'm doing it self-consciously, I think, or consciously, because I don't want to, in one way or another, disappoint you guys. So I'm constantly changing and moving the goalpost. And it's this weird imposter syndrome that sometimes that I get. So it's kind of interesting. But I'm like, as I'm talking to you, going, "Oh, I'm not gonna do this because I don't want to do that." I'm like, "Bruh, shut up, shut up, and just do it." So I apologize. That scared Mel is making an appearance, man. He's quite annoying. I learned something over the weekend that I need to put into practice, and it's about fear. Fear creates limitations where there is none. Fear of messing up, fear of losing out, fear of FOMO, all of that. Fear will make you believe that you can't do anything else. Fear will make you believe that you can't draw anymore. Fear will make you think that you're going to mess it up. And in doing so, creates limits to what you can do. I learned that this weekend. And then I'm sitting here setting limits. And it's quite annoying. So I lost my lines. I lost my lines. Now I'm scared. All right, let me. I'm gonna ink his face so I won't lose his face because we're digging the face, right? We're good with the face. Good with the face. So yeah, don't be scared, Mello. Be brave, Mello. That's for all of you guys and gals. Fear will set limits to you, man. It'll set limits, and then all it does in the end is breed regret. Oh, I should have done that. Why didn't I do that? It's only, and also, it's only art. It's only drawing. It's only sketching. It's only this. Why should we be afraid of any of this? We're so critical of not just ourselves, everybody. Everybody that claims or says they're an artist, we immediately become critical of what they do because we have in our head a version of what an artist should do is. Including ourselves. I think I may have lost his face in here, but I think that's okay. I might be able to find it again when I start painting. Yeah, inks are always terrifying. That's one thing. Hold on, let me go back to the chat for a second. Every time you draw the Hulk, you want to go back reading his comics? Yeah, man. You know what's so funny? That happens too, to me. Not just when I draw. I think you guys can set your schedule to me drawing Hulk, Wolverine, Spider-Man. But yeah, I end up going back. I have this big boy here. A bit of the Peter David run, because he wrote him for a long time. Some of the art is super dated. Some of it is fantastic. But sometimes it's just really cool to go in here and look. But I didn't want to look through it too much this morning before I started, because I didn't want to be influenced by any of the images in here or how to draw them. But my son was asking about this. Okay. Artfully says, you always answer questions and comments and appreciate. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here with me. Again, if it wasn't for you guys, it'd just be me here talking to myself, which is going to happen anyway. Excuse me. And I don't believe in gatekeeping. If I have the answer, I'm going to give it to you. If I don't know it, I'm going to try to find it. I try to be as honest as humanly possible with my process and my thinking, both emotionally and at the moment. I think art is relative in the sense that we can learn the techniques, right? Everybody can learn the techniques to draw. It's about patience, right? But not everybody knows the why. And I think I like to explain the why I did that, why, but more emotionally, why? Because I want you to think about the emotional part more than the technical part. Oh, I'm feeling it. I'm doing some crosshatchy. Like if I can just explain why I want a certain look and a certain emotion and why I'm going through that or feeling that and trying to put it on paper, I'm going to have to fix his hair. You can relate that to something that you might be working on. Okay, so this line this way because of anger, and that way with some weight because of happiness. Maybe I can try that on the piece that I'm working on that is important to me this way. You want to know the most satisfying part right now is how smooth this ink is flowing. I had so much trouble working with this ink over the weekend. This right here, that little victory, man. Cue Terrence Howard. It really does feel good. Ooh, I just did a squiggle line. Getting a little bit loose. Um, Scared Mello is relatable. Inks are terrifying, in my opinion. And look at you. Tanks. Yeah, the Hulk's massive. Oh yeah, that thing in the book, massive. And that's cool. Oh yeah. I get those cheap. Where did I get that? Did I get that at Ollie's? Probably. All right. I gotta figure out his hair because now it looks like a hairpiece. I don't know. I don't know how to do his hair. So let's just work on his eye. I have several videos about my fear and my setbacks when it comes to inking. It usually is about the finality of it, and you put that ink down, you can't get it out, or this, that, and the other, and certain goals that have changed, how I wanted to ink or portray my artwork. It's all about evolving. It really is. What is that? There's a. I lost my lines here, but there's an artist that has. I think it's Thanks. No, Jeffrey. Nope. Something Jones. I got it. Give me a second. we mentioned him the other day when I was drawing Batman and trying to get his ears a certain way. Doug Jones? No, that's the actor. He drew Dead Man. Take a minute. Kelly Jones. Ugh. Kelly Jones. He would give his characters this like bulging rib cage. I don't know if it'll work for what I'm doing, but I don't care. Artfully says it would be great for drawing, especially you that are involved in comics. Well, involved in comics? I just like drawing comics. Is that the same? Is that the same? It's like saying I'm an actor because I like watching movies. But I'm just being a butthead. I understand exactly what you mean. J.O.M. says that's why white correction liquid exists. Sure. Now if you're using a gray artboard. But yes. There's one thing too I gotta get out of my head and share with younger artists. It's okay to erase. It really is. In fact, all the cool kids are doing it. I want to keep it. Remember, this is Dad Bod Hulk. It's all right. That's what I meant. Drawing comics. Yeah, yes. Yeah, I got you. I'm just being a butthead. Being a butthead for Monday. All right. One thing I saw while you guys, if you're trying to figure out or be comfortable with inking, says the guy who just talked for a few minutes about being afraid of it, is don't worry about straight line, straight edge lines, that type of stuff. I'm going to do the forearm here. And one of the things that I've learned apart from being in digital, because digital you always want that sweeping line, that sharp, perfectly inked line, but the thing, the aesthetic of drawing with a brush or a brush pen, to me, is the organic line. So one way to get an organic line that has movement and just kind of vibrates, if that makes sense, is line weight. So what I'm going to be doing is as I do this curve for his forearm into his wrist, is I'm going to be going back and forth between very light pressure to heavier pressure, light pressure to heavy pressure. And there's certain edges and curves that I want to emphasize. I want to emphasize this bottom curve. So I'm going to go light to heavy here, lighten it up, and then do it again about up here. You don't have to do it all in one sweep. For instance, if I want it just this piece, I'm going to go ahead lightly here, heavy, and then turn into it. Doing that alone gives you line weight, it gives you shading, it gives you shadow, it gives you an impression of where the light is coming from. And one other thing, don't complete the line. These are just tips. You don't have to do that. You don't have to even listen to your boy. I'm going to turn it over, because I'm going to go from light here to heavy here, meaning light pressure to heavy pressure. And I wanted you guys to see it. And if you want to emphasize or even try to give the idea of form or something that's wrapping around, continue the line. Like that piece, that little strand right here. If I take it or give the impression that it continues, all of a sudden that looks like organic flesh or skin. In the end, all of this might even disappear when you start painting it. You tell him, Broadway. I want this to be a hunkin' piece of meat right here. So I'm just going to give it some weight. I'm sorry, is this too close? Do you guys want me to pull back a bit? Let me see what you guys are saying here. I think we learned that way. Erase, attempt to correct what we see as a mistake, and keep it. Absolutely. It is absolutely okay to erase. It's absolutely all right. I have to find those. I could either try to free ink those. But let me get this Spider-Man in here before he wipes away. I may have to draw from right to left. What I don't want is to move too quickly and break the line up. I don't know why. For this, I don't want to do that. Also, I'm not going to, as open as, let me move this. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep a lot of this open. It's not going to be that type of painting. I just wanted to see if I can do it. I gave him a pretty interesting Adam's apple there. This is going to be the hard. This is going to be the most difficult right here. Oh, that's interesting. It looks like the ink bled a bit. His face looks weird. Ay, ay, ay. I'm digging it. That is my go-to line right there. Let me show you guys. One, you really should be moving your arm more, but this is kind of like my go-to line right here. It's hard to see, but those right there, and all it is just a quick what is it? What's that called? A little tick mark? Let me see. Let me see if I can. All right. So that's gonna be right here's gonna be his knuckle. So I got this kind of awkward for you guys. You see what I do for you? So all I do is basically tap. Basically tap. And that simple line, tap tap. That's my go-to. I don't know why. But it's super satisfying. I wish I could do it on a larger scale. I need a bigger brush to do it. All right. I think this is gonna be. I think that's his thumb. A flick of the wrist. You know what I'm talking about. I can't see the lines anymore. I'm gonna have to go all Riley and do it live. 1, 2, 3. Count your fingers, people, or you'll be accused of AI art. You know what's so funny? In that Frazetta book, the author really went out of his way to point out a mistake. And I thought that was interesting because you can't really even notice it. So apparently, in one of the movie posters that Frazetta did, the actress that he painted has two left feet. And I was like, wow, what a hater ass thing to say about Frazetta. Like, nobody would know. Nobody would ever know. But now we do. Because he felt the need to do it, to write it in there. An extra finger's a sign of evolution, yeah. What was the, if you guys, I love the Addams Family movie with Raul Julia and Christopher Lloyd. I don't know if I like that line there. And the code, the combination to get into their safe, it was I believe it was 2, 10, and 12. And Fester couldn't remember it because he was brainwashed at the time. And Gomez was like, eyes, fingers, toes. Anyway. That massive bump is supposed to be his bicep. Not too shabby, I think. I think that his face looks better here than it does there. But that's okay. He could be freaking out. The Hulk is behind him, flexing. Yeah, just tap it. All right, I'm gonna have to draw that hand. I gotta figure out how to do this dude's hair. All right, let's see. It's gotta be around here. Looks weird on camera. I don't think that's gonna work. Well, now I'm really happy that this pencil does not stay on canvas. All right. I don't have anything that I can use for this coconut. work? The flat top? Like the military crew cut? Yeah, but we gotta give him the ruffalo, man. The Hulk with a mohawk? Well, isn't that just a savage dragon? There was a lot of debate about that between Peter David, I think, and Eric Larson. Dang it! Alright, let's see. Let's see what kind of hairdo we can do on the Hulk. Hulk. How to draw Hulk's hair. I guess. Yeah, I used to give him the like Frankenstein look. The crew cut's a little weird. The Bob Ross perm, give him an afro. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, this is like not the Etch-a-Sketch. You guys remember that? That actually looks kind of funny. The toy, it had the dude's face, and it was basically an Etch-a-Sketch. And but it was just magnets, magnet shavings. All right. Maybe we can find it in here. You got to give it up to these artists that always give them something a little bit different. And I didn't really help myself with the way I did his face. All right, so there's one here. He basically has the Fred Flintstone with the part. Let's see if we can do that here. Give him the Goku. Who knew that this was going to be the thing that just derails this whole piece? His friggin' hair. I think that kind of works. Yeah, that kind of works. There's only one way to find out. Now I'm a little nervous. All right. I think the crayon is digging into the brush pen here. I filled this thing up yesterday. And I'm losing it. All right. So there's motion here. Well, you know it's radioactive. He's just leaving booger isotopes, gamma irradiated. Thanks for the visual, man. He got that Jeremy Allen White. Yes, these are refillable. Well, I'm sure Pentel doesn't want you to know, but I'll absolutely show you how to refill this thing. Making sure I don't have any ink on my a boogie. Oh no, we're devolving. We're evolving with an extra finger so that we can pick radioactive Hulk boogers. What have we become? Q Xavier. Evolution. Mutation. We gotta figure out this too. So yeah, there's still some in here, but these reservoirs using something sharp. You don't have to use an X-Acto blade, but anything that'll fit in there, in this groove, right here, is a divider right there. You can kind of see it. See where these two colors separate? This black and this gray? Right there is where the My Elmer Fudd kicked in. Where the reservoir starts. So, jam something in there. Pry up. Be careful when doing so, not just because it's a sharp object, but as you're applying pressure, you might squeeze into the reservoir itself, causing it to make a very big mess. All right, so gingerly, you preferably don't want to do this over your artwork the way I'm doing it now. Once you get a good groove, once you see the separation, you kind of see that? See how it kind of separated there a bit? Kinda. Right? I wish this didn't have so much the fibers. So I'm just gonna jam my thumb in there and pull up. All right, there you go. So, where's my ink? Seeing how I have it open already, might as well show you how I do the whole dang thing. I have some Bombay black in here. So now it's loose. You see that? Can you see without the sheet? You see how it's popped out that way? Just from some leverage, a little thumbnail action. Now, you can remove this whole piece. This is the reservoir inside here. So this here, what I'm about to remove, is the activator. It has a sponge inside. So that when you squeeze, it goes inside the chamber into where the brush. That's it. This is what you would fill. Let's do that. Using Bombay black. What I actually use is this thing. A dull syringe. This is what is used for only. Don't get any ideas. The problem is, I really don't know how much space is in here or how much ink. This could get messy every once in a while. So, sometimes I'll empty it completely so that I can refill it up myself. And that's it, man. A couple milligrams. And you'll know really quickly if you've put too much in here. Now this I have to go and clean, because if that ink dries in there and in here and in here, it makes it terrible and it creates a weird vacuum, and I've already broken one recently when trying to fill up. Alright, so I have ink in here. Put this bad boy back. Now if there was a lot of ink, if I put too much, it'll begin to bubble out. Alright, we're looking good. That's it. Press it down. See, there's no spill. And we Gucci. Give it a little shake. You can hear it, you can feel it. Put your cap back on. Twist your cap back on. And if this was clean, when I squeeze, you'll see this start filling up. Or you'll see an air bubble come out on the side here where there's a hole here. That's where it takes in the air to create the vacuum and that's it. We are recharged. See that? Press too much, start pulling out. That's it, yo. The first time I did that, I had ink everywhere. But I like this brush because of its thin nature. And I like being able to do that because you save a ton of money. I no longer use these. I have two, but I have more ink. These are the two inks that I use right now, that I just kind of, there is no formula. I just put in what I think, and there's this calligraphy ink. Just really I like how dark it appears, and this fluidity. I just don't like the way it smells. People kind of enjoy the smell of it. It just smells earthy, like dirt. And then, of course, I got my New York Central Art Supply black waterproof India ink. I usually mix those two. There is no really 1-to-1 or 2-to-1. I'm not a scientist that way. I just kind of mix them and see how it works. And then I usually just dab a little bit of alcohol inside of these little restaurant containers. I gotta be careful. There's already ink in here. This is what I used yesterday to refill my pen. So I'm just using this so I can clean the needle here. So I'm trying to clean it because the last one, it would create a vacuum because it would be dry ink in here. So put that away, put that away, put that away. So looking at Peter David's, let me go back to some of this stuff. Back. Boogers, nice hair. Hulk has Fonzie hair. Heck yeah. Ayo. Fonzie hair. DW says, looking at Peter David's first Hulk, and the artist was Todd McFarlane, and he drew Hulk with some very luxurious hair. Yeah, you know what's funny? I really don't like McFarlane's run on the Hulk, and I have his it's called Ground Zero. I was looking at it the other day. Some of the stuff that made him iconic, I look at it now like, I don't know, buddy, but hey, it is what it is. And reading McFarlane, I tell you one thing about him, that he never lacked confidence. Oh yeah, that's flowing. He kind of low-key criticized the inkers that Marvel would give him, but I think it's because the inkers would fix his anatomy, and he would kind of like preface it as if they weren't like accentuating his lines. He used the micron pens. You can kind of tell a lot of his artwork doesn't have much line weight. It could also be the reproduction of the book that I have, but on his own words anyway, he mentions how he wasn't always happy with the inkers. But I think that's because, like I said, I think they would redo his anatomy. I use noodlers. Oh, Hulk 29. Hulk 29 has some sweet hair too, man. What pen is that? This is a Pentel brush pen. I might even still have some. So I bought a bunch of these thinking that this was going to be the wave of the future, and I was going to, for me, so like every artist, I bought a bunch of them. That's not all of them either. I bought a bunch of them. And Make sure I'm not ignoring anybody here in the other. Anybody there? Anybody here? So Penny has said hello. Hello back. So I bought several of them. Of various brush tips in sizes, thin, medium, and big. And big end. I felt more control over using the smaller ones anyway. And I bought all of these to refill so I won't, so I could always have one ready. And you're right, they're not expensive at all. And then I saw that you can refill them, and I'm like, well, because some of these do not have waterproof ink. So as I was going through my drawing process to inking process to painting, I was getting into a lot of trouble trying to figure out which one was which and remembering which one was which. And that's a Mel problem, not a you guys problem. So some artwork was ruined as soon as I added water or washes, because I thought they were all waterproof ink, and they're not. Some of them is just black pigmented ink, not waterproof or India ink. So being able to fill these up with the ink that I want made it super beneficial for me. So now I got all these spares. I still use these, just not as often, because I would rather just fill up. Now that I have 2 ginormous bottles of India ink that I can refill. Frugal, man. You gotta be frugal. It's like an air pocket in here now. I just felt it move. The thing you have to be careful with, once you fill it, it can get a lot out of control sometimes. It may have a little too much. Yo, his thumb is huge. I might have just ruined the thumb. They're inexpensive. DW says, I like McFarlane's art though. From interviews I have seen, I don't really like him. Yeah, he's a bit self-centered, and that's okay. I think there's artists that need that type of they need him. He is a champion for artists, bar none though. But also he's getting a lot of flack right now because his stance and his acceptance of AI art, which again, I don't care what you do, what people do. So people are kind of like turning on him, and it is what it is. JOM says, the ink is very important to take note of from the jump. Good tip. Yes, man. So, and because it's in Japanese, to the naked eye, to my unknowing eye, they all look the same. And that's a Mel problem, not a y'all problem. So I thought, ooh, I got lucky. And then I tried to replicate that and found that the next batch of pens weren't waterproof. So that messed me up. So do you use G pens or quills to ink? I have, and I do. I just haven't done lately. I bought a bunch of them recently so that I can practice. But I have not. I have them right here. Again, flat parallels. This is for calligraphy. And these are my other G pens. Not necessarily G pens, but quill pens. I can't get this rubber piece off. And they look like they're both the same size. It's an art form that's beautiful. I have tried it. I've done some pieces completely with G pens, but I would love to, though. I would love to go back to do something like that and mess around. All right. But there's something about the brush that just, and I think it's because I'm painting, that I enjoy more. Aesthetically, the quill pens, to me, the sound of that they make is very satisfying. That little scratchy, you know what I'm talking about? This, and it's done on every piece of paper. Or that. So, I'm curious with this, how this would work on this. So I will be doing more practice that way. I have that pen and ink book. I'm sure I'm going to need it. Right now there's a ton of ink pooling. I'm going to try to contain that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the manga artists are amazing with it. I feel like they pioneered it. I don't know who started it. Both brush and quill. I think the Japanese pioneered it. Just look at the way they do their calligraphy, which is an amazing art form in itself. Yeah, there's too much ink in here right now. It's making it difficult. There's too much air, so it's pushing a lot of ready ink. So it makes it a little bit difficult to get precise, considering if you want a small tight line, it's going to give you a bloob of ink, and that's not what I'm going for. The thing that I get is that I'm inking on a flat surface. No angles for me. I do have an art table to my right that I haven't used. I gotta find a way to do Spidey's eyes. I don't know how they can get so expressive, honestly, with Spidey's eyes. It's so amazing. But I am trying to get a surprise look here, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off. I rarely ink or draw on a angled surface, even though I should. I think it would be beneficial. can kind of see it. Let's go for it. Yeah, you're probably right. Like the whole. Yep. This is gonna devolve really quickly. Again, if it fails, we'll just paint over it, and I'll blame one of you guys. Nope. It's the lenses, man. So like teardrops now. Ooh. You want to know something cool? No spoilers on this movie. What's really cool that I've noticed, um, how much impractical suit Tom Holland is in, because there's certain scenes in the movie where you can see his eyes inside. And I think that's really cool. Yeah, I think so. I'm right here. Now the heart. Now the another. Well, you see somebody. All you see is the eyes inside. I did not want to erase that bottom lip. But I just thought it was a really cool aesthetic. You know what I didn't what I found interesting? I don't know if you guys if and when if you guys see it. When was the last time you went to go see a movie and the actor gives a quick thank you before the movie. Like you don't need to sell it to us, man. We're already here. I thought that was interesting. I don't remember seeing something like that unless I used to watch screenings. And that's usually in before the movie starts. I'm fighting everything not to make this look so cartoonish, but I don't think I am drawing something that makes no damn sense here. You know what? Let's just freaking go with it. It's one thing I gotta get out of my head. Making stuff look acceptable. Like just do it, man. Yes. Yeah, before the movie started, it's hey guys, it's Tom Holland. Like, we don't know. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. This is the best thing we did. We hope you enjoy it. Thanks. I thought that was interesting. I don't remember the last time I saw something like that. I mean, not like I didn't appreciate it. I did say, you're welcome. But Marvel is weird, man. I really do think there's certain things that they do where you question, did you trust this movie? Did you trust your choices? I think, and they both of them had to do with the Hulk. I think that if they never showed the Hulk in Thor Ragnarok in the trailers, I think it would have been a bigger reaction to it. But there's no more surprises. But saying that, this movie did have several surprises that were pleasant to experience without being ruined. Because there's nothing worse than this fan base than spoilers. So many. What the ending means? I'm like, I didn't even see the beginning. Something that Denzel Washington said to a reporter about the it had nothing to do with this, but Marvel, but their responsibility as journalists, that they're so busy trying to be first that they never ask the question if they're right. And that's kind of like what I get from these people that spoil the movie or just to be first. Oh, I saw it. So and so is great. Oh, they should have had done that to that so and so because this, that, and the other. And it's like, oh, kick rocks. Did you guys see? I'm not laughing at violence, but there was a dude in India who saw the movie, saw Spider Man. Then he went and saw it again with his girlfriend. And throughout the movie, began to mansplain certain things and spoil certain things throughout the movie. And people around him got a little bit upset that he was spoiling the movie in real time as they were watching it, and fisticuffs ensued. I'm not saying it's justified. I'm not saying that violence is the key. Maybe you don't do that. Right? Maybe you talk about it after. I had a friend, not even a friend, he was a brother of a friend. We were watching Speed on VHS. Just came out on VHS. Right? Blockbuster. We was excited. We was going to watch it. This dude saw it in theaters, I guess, and was excited to watch it again with his family and friends and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, he's that type of guy. Oh, watch this. Oh, watch this before anything happens. So the last straw was very early in the scene because we felt like he was going to be doing that all day. There's a scene in the movie. Keanu Reeves is running towards a door, and as he reaches it, boom, it explodes. Ooh, right? It's supposed to be a shock. And then they show Keanu get up and get ready, and the guy had the nerve to say, you guys thought he was dead, huh? And we was like, no. No, stupid. They're not going to kill Keanu Reeves in his own freaking movie, bro. Get out of here. So we kicked him out. Kicked him out of the living room when we was watching. That memory is so vivid in my mind. We were so mad. Yeah, Keanu Reeves, man. Keanu Reeves. Ooh, shoulder looks like a raisin. Yeah, that's great. Tom wants you to see the Odyssey. I'm gonna go. We're actually gonna go see the Odyssey next Sunday. I'm interested. You think they'll have a? They had a Spider-Man head popcorn bucket. You think they'll have the horse, the Trojan horse? I'll buy that. People waited a long time for the movie. Spoiling is a bad form. Hook. Hook is a fantastic movie. Rufio. You want to know an amazing? I don't know if you guys know this. You can stop me, and this will be the last thing I say. Because we are 2 hours and a half in. So we'll end it with this. In that movie, in Hook, the sword of the blade of leadership for the Lost Boys gets transferred to one of the characters there. No one told that actor, the young actor, that he was going to be chosen. So his reaction when Robin Williams hands him that sword, that little blade, was unscripted and real. And I think that's super cute. Also, let me know if you guys remember Meryl Streep in that movie. Not Meryl Streep. What's the other lady? No, not Meryl Streep. Who was Glenn Close? Yeah. I found out after as an adult, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm so happy for that kid. All right. I gotta work on that arm up there. I think what I'm gonna start doing is adding some spots, some blacks. Not too much. Yes, Maggie Smith was actually in Harry Potter. Run home, Jack. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it. Yeah, she was the dude that was. They shoved him into the crate. That was Glenn Close. All right, I think that might be enough for today. I think this will be something cool to continue throughout the. Yeah, she was a boo box dude. Yep. No, she. I don't think she spoke. Oh yeah, but it was her the whole way. I gotta think, but yes. Once you see it, you won't be able to unsee Glenn Glenn Close in that. Yeah, the fact that she was in Guardians of the Galaxy, it's kind of nuts. And then they did nothing with her character. Or C. Thomas Riley. C. Thomas? His gut's getting weird. That's all good. I'm gonna have to move his fist right here. Okay, alright, party peoples. I'm gonna let the music play me out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today in this re-entry Monday. Wednesday's workshop, I'm gonna be painting these. I have to get back to my creator-owned stuff, so we're gonna be doing some of these. I'll probably finish painting her in my own time, unless you guys are interested. But I probably will be starting to do these too before I start a new one. I think that I'm getting into a really bad habit of starting pieces and getting so excited and started something else. But this weekend was for studying, so that needed to happen. So I ain't too mad about it. But thank you guys for hanging out. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Oh no, that's a good way to lose a finger. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday, the workshop. Yeah, if there's something you guys want to see besides any of the create-on stuff that I'm doing. If you guys want to see a character I haven't drawn before, a technique, something you guys want to talk about, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. Hit that like if you're there. Hit me in the hundos and the hearts if you wanna. If not, I appreciate you guys always. I will see you guys on Wednesday. This is Art to the Round Table. My name is Mello. That's the Hulk. That's Spidey. God bless you. Love you. Mean it. And until next time, I'll draw you later. Bye.